We move on now to Afghanistan, where the Taliban has taken control of the capital city of Afghanistan, Kabul. And most recently, there were reports coming in that they've already made their way to the presidential palace in Kabul, even as Ashraf Ghani, the president, has escaped reportedly to Tajikistan, the capital city of Dushanbe. The UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said in response to all the developments in Afghanistan that nobody should bilaterally recognize the Taliban as the government of Afghanistan as yet. He added that it was clear that there would be a new administration in the country taking over very shortly, but has asked on the international community to refrain from recognizing the Taliban regime immediately, given the violence that has ensued in Afghanistan over the last few days, as Taliban has captured territory after territory while finally making its way to Kabul. Let's listen in to what Boris Johnson said.
Of course, we continue to attach huge importance to human rights, to equalities. Think of everything that the UK has helped to achieve over the last 20 years, the sacrifice of that mission. A lot of women and girls were educated thanks to the efforts of the UK. Human rights, equalities were promoted and protected in a way that Afghanistan hadn't seen before. Of course, we don't want to see that thrown away. And what we're trying to do now is to concert the rest of the like-minded around the world, of whom there are a great many, to make sure that we don't prematurely, bilaterally recognize a new government in Kabul without forming a common view and setting the same conditions about how that government should behave. I can certainly say, Sam, that we've already got a large number of Afghan nationals out. We're working very fast on all the UK nationals, on all the consular cases, and they're coming forward in numbers at the moment. But I do appeal.
We're joined by Pradeep Datta for the latest on this morning. Pradeep, good morning. We all remember what happened in 1996 in Afghanistan when Taliban took control of the capital Kabul. Very soon after that, Najibullah, who had been the former president of Afghanistan, was hanged in public. Now, 25 years later, we see a situation where the Taliban has once again taken control of the capital city of Kabul, and they've also said that they'll be declaring an Islamic Emirate very soon in Afghanistan. The implications of this for the rest of the region are extremely worrying, are they not, Pradeep?
Yes, Siddharth, you're absolutely right. That's one of the reasons that the Boris Johnson is saying that anybody who's trying to occupy the Kabul by force should not be recognized by the international community, because they are right now looking for the international recognition. Though the Taliban had been claiming that they will not be targeting people or foreigners who are putting up in Kabul, that's why they will not be allowing any kind of a bloodshed. But nobody is going to trust Taliban, because if you look at their track record, and even when during the last 2 days, wherever they had tried to attain control, they have started already Sharia review, and they want to have a Sharia law, and that's not at all inclusive. It is an exclusivist agenda, and that's what is worrying the countries like UK and many others. Though United States wanted to come out of this quagmire, but yes, many people feel that exit of United States had been flawed one. And over the period of time, once again, there is a concern about the human rights of the women and children, because the women had been the one who last time had faced the brunt of Taliban. That time we have seen how the schools were closed, they were flogged, they were stoned publicly. And you rightly said that Najibullah was hanged to the lamppost at that point of time. And right now, many people are trying to see that Rostam and other people are just moved out, and that's what actually they are looking at. It's also a matter of concern for India too, because reason being that already we have seen that how the countries are right now scrambling to ensure that their people are taken out immediately from Kabul area. Many of them have already started moving toward the airport. We have seen the United States issuing, in fact, instruction to their officials to burn all those documents, because they do not want the secret document to fall into the hands of Taliban. But for India, it's a matter of concern. Reason being that because India feels that once once the Taliban government is formed in Afghanistan, definitely this is going to encourage and embolden secessionist and separatist elements in India. And the second thing is that everybody knows that Pakistan, China and Taliban nexus, that is again a worrying thing, because Pakistan never ever wanted Indians to have the footprints in Afghanistan. They wanted to have a strategic in-depth. They feel that once this Taliban takeover will be there, the decades of investment that India has made in the form of development, construction of schools, hospitals, building, that will hit a roadblock.
That's
and
right.
the third thing is that Pakistan will try to rehabilitate Taliban by pushing them
Pradeep,
into...
we're also getting more breaking inputs where the Secretary General of the United Nations has tweeted his serious concern over the developments in Afghanistan and the capture of Kabul by the Taliban. He said he's deeply concerned about the situation in Afghanistan and urged the Taliban and all others to exercise utmost restraint to protect lives and ensure humanitarian needs can be met. The UN remains determined to contribute to a peaceful settlement and promote human rights of all Afghans. This is coming from the Secretary General of the UN, Antonio Guterres. But Pradeep, knowing the reputation of the Taliban in the past and also the fact that Abdul Ghani Baradar, who has been part of the peace negotiations in Doha and is widely expected to take over as the next leader of Afghanistan, was also one of the founding members of the Taliban and an associate of Mullah Omar. How much can the Taliban really be trusted to ensure a peaceful transition in this matter?
See, that's in fact, Siddharth, a matter of concern, because people feel that Taliban has not at all changed. They might be trying to project that they are now a different kind of a Taliban, that they will be looking for the peaceful transition of power and all those things. But nothing of that sort so far has been seen, because we've seen that the places which they occupied in the past, they've already started the Sharia review. And when they want to have an Islamic law, we know what actually the Islamic law as per the Taliban means. That means there is hardly any freedom for the women. They will not be allowed to work, they will not be allowed to move freely, they will have to completely remain covered, and they will have to face all those persecution what they had faced in the past also. So that's a matter of concern. And what is concerning is that once Taliban will be there, there's every possibility that they will be starting targeting the minorities. They will not be allowed to stay there, and especially the countries like India
Massive
and the United
breaking news,
States.
Pradeep. The very fact that the Taliban has managed to now enter the presidential palace, there's already footage of Taliban fighters who have managed to make their way into the Afghan presidential palace in the capital city of Kabul. Remember that the Afghan president Ashraf Ghani has left the country reportedly to Tajikistan, and he put out a message last night saying that he prays for the future of Afghanistan and that he's not managed to ensure a successful transition and he's had to leave the country forced by circumstances. Pradeep, we come back to you. Worrying visuals here where the Taliban has now taken over the presidential palace.
Yes, these are worrying visuals. Almost a similar kind of a scene was seen in 1996, when that time also the Taliban had taken over. And this time also the similar kind of a worry is there for the international community and the people putting there. And there is a lot of criticism of Ashraf Ghani also, because they feel that Ashraf Ghani is a coward. He should not have fled the area. He kept the country in the dark, because till 2 days back, Ashraf Ghani was talking about that they were not going to surrender. But now Ashraf Ghani fleeing out from that place, saying that he didn't want any kind of a bloodshed. That's why he just preferred to move out, and he wanted a smooth transition of power. But the people in Afghanistan seem to feel somewhere cheated, because they never ever expected this thing to happen, because they were leading a normal life. They never wanted Taliban to be once again there and their life, day-to-day life getting affected. And especially Kabul was considered to be safer place, because this was the time, this was the place while Taliban's resurgence had started, they were thinking that this was the safer hub. That's why many of the people were captured. Now, many people, what we are getting the reports.
That's right, Pradeep. Thanks for that input. In fact, extremely worrying visuals, as we said, complete capitulation on the part of the Afghan security forces, as well as the president of Afghanistan, Ashraf Ghani, who's now fled to Tajikistan. It's time for a short break. We'll monitor the developments in Afghanistan very closely and give you all the latest updates. We'll see you on the other side with more news and developments. Stay tuned.